Hello and welcome everyone to
Hello.
another Cigar Loons podcast live. So, of course, you all know me. My name's Gaz, and I go by Rocky Cigar Review It. Tonight, I've got my fellow loons. So, I've got, of course, Cigar Kurt. I've got PC. I've got Vandal, Jimmy Sue, and of course, John Massey. How's it going, loons? You all okay?
All
Hey,
right.
hey.
Doing well. Doing well.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Excellent.
And our very special guest tonight is Joe from Evil Empire Cigars. So welcome to the Cigar Loons podcast, my brother. How's it going?
It's happening. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Most
welcome here, man.
Welcome
Welcome
in.
to the loony bin, as we all say.
I'll fit right in then.
So,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you'll fit in, my brother. Trust me. Everybody fits in with the Cigar Loons, you know. But for anyone who doesn't know, of course, who you are, Joe, and what Evil Empire is about, give us a brief bit of history about yourself and, of course, about what Evil Empire is about, my brother.
Yeah, sure. I guess I start where I started smoking cigars. So I started smoking cigars when I was about 18. Just like a lot of other people, you just kind of smoke one every now and then. Not really a lifestyle type of thing, which is what I would call what I do now. It was more of a hobby at that point. So at 18, I'd smoke one when we played poker, when, we had events or whatever. And then I ended up going to the Dominican Republic for a vacation and kind of got gifted a cigar by the person that was working there at the resort. And he gave it to me and said, try this out. And I asked him how much it was. And he goes, no, the first one's for free. So it's kind of like a drug deal. So he just, because he knew what was going to happen. He knew I was going to come back. So he gave me the first one for free. And I'm on the way to the room smoking. I'm like, man, this is really good. I'm like, that's good. So we get back to the hotel room, drop off our stuff. I grab my wallet and I go back and I bought a whole damn box of them. So he knew exactly what he was doing. So fast forward to about a month after I got back from the Dominican. We had been playing poker at our local cigar lounge every Thursday with a group of guys, a group of my friends. And we had been seeing some other groups on Instagram that were their cigar groups. And we were just kind of kicking around the idea. I'm like, it'd be kind of cool to do something like that here, but more on a local thing. So if we could get a bunch of people together, we could do poker tournaments, bags tournaments or whatever, just something cool to hang out, and create a community here locally.
Yeah.
So we thought that was cool. And, I ended up starting this Instagram page with a couple of the other guys that I was playing poker with. And people started liking all the posts that we were doing and liking some of the videos and following us. We had a poker tournament that we put on here locally where we had about 20 people come to a small lounge and have a big poker. It was actually pretty big. And we had JC Newman and Nova Cigars actually helped sponsor some of the prizes for us. And we just reached out and they sent some cool prizes, and that kind of helped set up locally here. But as we continued to post these different pictures and videos on Instagram, more and more people started following, liking all of our posts. And I saw that lives were getting pretty big, and people were doing these short form interview type things. And I thought that was really cool. So just for the heck of it, I reached out to a couple different cigar brands and also a guy that made wooden ashtrays. His name's Jeff. He runs GSTN Cigars. And he makes these amazing cigar ashtrays, custom with whatever you can put, whatever engravings you want on it. And I had him come on the show for the very first time. And that was kind of the start of everything. I reached out to a couple more cigar brand manufacturers, and lo and behold, they came on, and kind of snowballed, and that's kind of the history from there.
Like I say, them with the ashtrays, of course. I know yourselves have got one, and of course, I managed to get one, of course,
Yep.
with Batman in it. And they're really cool ashtrays, and cool guy behind them who makes them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. And it's also interesting, there's, of course, JC Newman and Nova sponsored you with, of course, your poker and everything, which you don't normally find that with some cigar companies where they'll go out and do that. But that's really nice of them to do that. And like I say, I know, of course, we've bits of history around you know you grew and everything, and I know you keep growing and growing, and of course you've got now the Evil Empires Cigar Society, but you've also got, of course, your other Instagram. So tell us a little bit about how you got into the other Instagram channel now that you've managed to sort out.
So I created that one. That was actually my personal one to begin with, and then I created the Evil Empire one because I wanted to kind of keep it separate. But that actually turned into something more along the lines of more things outside of the cigar industry, but kind of also connected, more so like motorcycles and stuff like that. I'm a big motorcycle guy. I love riding motorcycles, and so that was one of the main reasons. I wanted to do something a little outside the box, but kind of keep it close to what the cigar community does. So I tried to do some interviews with other motorcycle accessory brands, and along the lines of what I do for cigars, but just in that area.
Yeah, like I say, of course, I've seen it unfold, and I know you, of course, a big biker fan and everything. I know you're a biker. What bike have you got at the moment, Joe? And what do you ride at the moment?
Well, let me see if I can turn it here. I've got my 2007 Harley Electric Glide.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very
Wow.
nice. I know, of course, if Kiba was here, Mr. Tom Fuller will be asking him more about your bike because big bike fan as well. He is. Which, like I said, I just want to put a shout out, of course, to Cigar Man, which John for joining us. One of our other brothers have joined us. I want to put a shout out, of course, to PC, who's now here, and the rest of our brothers, especially to Popo, because Popo's missed it tonight. So hope everything's all right, Pope, and same to Tom as well. So, of course, we know about the side of Evil Empire and how you started, of course, your other one. How do you like to cut your cigar and light it when you finally pick out your cigar, Joe?
I think over the years it's kind of changed, and then it's become like in that moment sort of thing. Before, it was only ever a straight cut for the longest time. When I first started smoking when I was 18, it was only a straight cut. I didn't really even know about the V cut at that point. It was only until I started doing all this stuff where I got a little bit more knowledgeable in the different types of cuts. I started doing the V cuts, and then I only did the V cuts. And then I think it really evolved into what Vitola I was smoking and, the mood that I was in. So there's certain Vitolas that I probably wouldn't do a V cut on. And then there's some that I probably wouldn't do a straight cut on. So I think it just kind of depends.
So, of course, you just mentioned it depends on what Vitola of cigar you're smoking to the cut. What's your favourite Vitola of cigar to smoke?
Right here, the Lancero.
Lancero. Which that's unique to hear from a lot of people because I know, of course, me personally, I like the Toro size. I don't mind Robusto. Anything a bit smaller, I find I have problems if I let it sit for a little bit and the ash goes out and I've got to return it. Lanceros, I've had a couple of little issues with. But Rocky, stop it. I've got the dog kicking off in the background, I'm sorry. But, of course, Lanceros, I don't like Lanceros, don't get me wrong. I don't trash them. I know everyone likes them. But why do you like the Lancero?
It's so much more flavorful for me. And it's not that other ones can't have that same type of flavor, but for me, it's what gives it what the maker of that cigar was trying to put out. It's the truest form of what that blend is supposed to be. And I just 9 times out of 10, I'm going to get much more of that flavorful boldness out of a Lancero. And I've smoked a lot of different vitolas of this same cigar, and then in the vitola of a Lancero, it's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, that's what I've heard from different people. Of course, who smoked the same cigar in different vitolas, from of course Robusto to Toro to Lancero to different sizes. As you said, you'll find it to be more of each form in the Lancero and how it was rolled to how it goes in the Robusto, and then of course the changing from the Robusto to the Toro in different sizes. So
now, if I'm just grabbing something though, if I'm just grabbing a cigar, and it's not a Lancero, I would probably go towards a Toro.
Yeah. So, of course, about cigars, we know, of course, there's so many cigars coming out now from different regions of the world, from, of course, Nicaragua to Dominican to Honduras to Costa Rica, of course, Cameroon as well now, and different tobaccos that are coming out. So I know, of course, there's tobaccos that are coming from Ireland, there's tobaccos that are coming from Transylvania. What's your favorite region of tobacco coming from in your cigars? What region do you like the most?
From the newer ones, or just in general?
Yeah, just from the newer and also from general, because I know you've managed to smoke a lot of different cigars.
I would
know with
say,
myself,
in general, I would say I tend to go more towards the Nicaraguan. I like the heavier, more full body cigars. A little bit more strength to it, that earthiness, that leather, spice, pepper stuff. What I would recommend people give a shot is Costa Rican tobacco. There is some amazing tobacco coming out of Costa Rica.
I've never got around to trying Costa Rican tobacco, but of course we're just getting used more to now in the UK of different cigar companies bringing out different blends and different cigars, and we're getting more new cigars coming to the market. And hopefully, as time carries on, we'll of course get the Costa Rican tobacco over here in different cigars from the companies. But like I say, I like my Nicaraguan tobacco. I don't mind my Dominican. But I try and go through every different cigar company if they got a different cigar and try the different wrappers, of course, the different fillers, the different binders. I want to have a different smoking experience, and this is what's unique about the group of cigar loons that we got together, because with, of course, yourself even being in the States, the cigars that you guys smoke aren't here on the market. And you look at the likes, of course, of PC. So, PC, what are you smoking at the moment, my brother?
Actually smoking the Oliva V, 135th anniversary, and it's one of my favorites. I've been looking for this cigar for a while. It's kind of hard to find in my location, but it's a full body cigar. I mean, it is a perfect smoke for me, to relax to, and perhaps pair it with some type of libation. Most of the time it's Grand Marnier, but right now I don't have that, so I really love this smoke and stuff like that.
But that's the thing, and I know, of course, you've suggested that to me, which, of course, I've gone out and picked up from my local B&M today to smoke. And this is the thing, it's nice to hear about what different people are smoking, telling you about the cigar and saying, well, why don't you go and try this cigar from this company, or have you thought about this region? So, like, of course, you've just mentioned Joe about Costa Rica and trying Costa Rica. So it's interesting to keep an eye out. So, of course, you already know from the years we've spoken you know what my next question is going to be already, Joe. So let's whack it out at you. Let's get them marbles working. 3 people, alive or dead, that you'd like to sit and smoke a cigar with, my brother.
Man. I would say I still have not yet smoked a cigar with my father, so that would be one. I think a cool person to smoke a cigar with would be Joe Rogan, because he's just so out there, and all the conversations would just be amazing.
Yeah.
So he would definitely be one of them. For my third one, let's see. George Washington would be pretty cool. if for a dead one.
That's the first time, he's been mentioned, because we did this chat like in the Cigar Loons Discord when we were live one night, and we all went around and we all picked out unique people. But of course, PC, can you remember a couple of yours? Who yours were, PC? And then of course I'll go around the table and see who everyone else's was.
If I had to choose right now, and he just mentioned, it would be real cool to smoke cigar with my dad. One of the coolest guys I ever met. That would have been a thrill. And I would have to pass that question on to the next person, because there are so many influential people that you can name, and the names are just flying past me right now.
So let's chuck that down to Grumpy. Go on, Grump.
Well, like Joe said, Rogan, man, would be that would be a trip in itself. The first time around when you asked me that, I also said Andrew Tate, because that would be another interesting one that I would like to just sit and have conversations with.
I'd agree with that one too.
But if I could go back to somebody that was dead, with my humor and my way of thinking and stuff, I think Groucho Marx would have been a cool one to sit down and smoke a cigar with.
Yeah, of course. You give us your 3, so we'll go over to, of course, Jimmy. And Jimmy, who are your 3?
Well, if I had the chance, I'd smoke a cigar with my dad. And not because of his popularity or politics or anything, but just because he was a big aficionado. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, I would love to be able to sit down and smoke a cigar with him. And somebody I actually did get to smoke a cigar with was Ben Johnson, the actor, cowboy actor.
Jeez.
He used to have a celebrity rodeo fundraiser, and when I was in the military stationed in California, we got to go to it. And sitting back behind after the rodeo, around the campfire, got to smoke a cigar with Ben Johnson and a couple other actors, and that was pretty cool.
All right. That is cool. That's a cool story as well to have. So we'll go, of course, to Vandal. So Vandal, you're 3. Live or dead?
I would smoke with my dad, my grandpa, and just a random celebrity would be John Cena.
But how are you going to see him? You only just see the smoke.
Right, that'd be awesome.
That is stunning to say that, because we all know John Cena's a big cigar smoker, but his favourite line, "You can't see me." So I can't believe you got that one straight out. So that was funny.
Had a hard time.
Good. You're 3, my brother. Who would you?
Well, when we first asked this question last month to each other, I didn't have much of an answer. But since then, I've had some time to ponder. So I would say I am a big Joe Rogan fan, so I'll put him on my list. Schwarzenegger, and then Winston Churchill. Those are my three.
Wow.
Nice.
So just like to say hello to Stick Society. So thank you for coming on and watching, and it's nice to see you. It is, and we hope you're having a great Friday. So, of course, we sat around and we discussed about the three people alive or dead. Now, of course, you know me. I said Ozzy Osbourne. Now I'm a big Ozzy Osbourne fan. I'd like to sit down with him, get his experience around cigars, and I think it'd be an interesting conversation because, like I say, with me living in England and being from Stoke-on-Trent, Ozzy Osbourne's a Midlander, like myself, and from Birmingham. It'd be a different mix of dialects of talking. But also, I said, James Hetfield, getting down and sitting with him and finding out how he started, of course, Metallica, to then coming around with the whole thing of the blackened whiskey to now, of course, having a cigar made with, of course, Drew Estate, which I enjoyed the M81. And then, of course, we've all said and we've all touched on either a grandfather or a father's. Mine would be my grandfather because my grandfather was a big influence in my life. Never knew I smoked cigars, and yeah, I'd like to sit down and smoke a cigar with him if I could. But sadly, he's not here. But you know something, it's a good question to ask, and like I say, you've all come out with good answers. And that's the thing with asking that question. It's a good icebreaker as well. And I think it's a good icebreaker as if you're in a cigar lounge. You could ask people in the cigar lounge as well if you knew them and break that question out and see what they come back with. So, like I say, welcome to everyone who's watching. We are, of course, the Cigar Loons Live podcast. Myself and my fellow Cigar Loon brothers. And we've got, of course, our extreme guest. We've got Joe from Evil Empire Cigars. So, just want to welcome you again and watching us, and thank you. So, of course, I've sat the last day or so, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to quiz Joe. I'm going to see what he comes out with and give him this quick fire question. So, my quick fire question, as you know, is coming up is I've chosen 4 cigar companies, and I want one cigar that you would say from that cigar company. So the first one, Tatuaje Cigars. What cigar would you choose from that line?
Man, there's so many. The newest one, I think, for me, that just came out, the Tuxla. It's the 15th anniversary. Or, I'm sorry, the 10th. And Miami 10 Tuxla, the one that just came out.
Yep.
I think for me, that's the cigar of the year.
Like I say, if it was me, I'd pick, of course, the Black Label. I absolutely love the Black Label from Tatuaje. Of course, let's go and ask the Loons. So, Kurt, have you ever had anything from Tatuaje Cigars? You ever smoked
I
a
have
cigar from
not.
them?
I need to get on. I need to get aboard and try some. I have not smoked one of those.
It'll change your life, my brother.
PC? PC? Have you ever had a cigar from Tatuaje, PC?
I have not. Like I said, that's an introduction and something to look forward to. I'll be scavenger hunting for that one, and you know, looking
Yep.
forward to it.
Jimmy, have you ever had one from Tatuaje at all?
Nope.
No. I know Case hasn't. So I don't need
Nope.
that Vandal because no Vandal hasn't. Grum, have you had one from Tatuaje at all?
Sir, it is absolutely unanimous. No.
Highly
jeez.
recommend.
Just saying. Yeah.
Oh,
There hadn't been any in any of my
Hey.
small batch boxes, you
I
know?
got an idea. Maybe we can have a stream where we all smoke that same one.
Yeah, good dude. Like I say, good idea to put together and everything.
Yeah.
So
I can promise you it will change your look on Nicaraguan tobacco.
So my next company, JC Newman.
Let's see. I would have to go. I would have to go with the Julius Caesar because it was one of the ones that hooked me on Jason Newman.
Yep. I've had, of course, the brick houses. I like the Madeira brick house. I do. So, Kate, any cigars from Jason Newman that you've smoked and enjoyed?
I've only smoked the brick house. I think it was a Maduro that I had, and I enjoyed it. But that's my only experience with them.
Yep. PC.
I've only had the Brick House, which turned out to be a great cigar. I tried to do a review on it, and I stunk at the review. But
Grumpy.
it was a really good.
Jason
It
Newman.
was a good clean smoke.
Yeah, I show you my cheapness, man. Anything in the Trader Jack series, any one of the three.
Yep.
Slamming. Flavor out the yay.
Jimmy from Jason Newman.
I too had the Brick House Maduro. It was very nice, very flavorful.
Yep. And Kate, have you had any from Jason Newman? Yep.
If Trader Jack's is for JC Newman, then yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Yep.
So yeah.
So that one, at least near enough everyone's had something from Jason Newman. So my next one, and one of the companies that I really enjoyed their cigars, and I was going to try and, of course, bring them to the UK before I became bad, was Big Sky Cigar Company.
Big Sky. The one that they released at this PCA, this last year's PCA, I think it was I can't remember what it was. It was the Blackfoot. That is an amazing cigar, but the one I'm actually choosing is the Mad Minnow. It's about just a small little guy, but man, that thing is a punch in the mouth. Just packed.
I've got to admit with you, Joe, it's a little firecracker. And when I smoked it, I was like, holy moly, this is a firecracker.
That's one you have to eat before you smoke.
Oh, yeah, it is. So, of course, I don't think any of the fellow loons have tried Big Sky Cigar, but just give them a brief insight to who Big Sky Cigar companies are, Joe, and what they're about.
Yeah, I believe they are out of Montana, and their whole preface is to highlight Montana and rivers and all that sort of thing. And so for the most part, most of their cigars have to do with either like fishing or big sky, like as it says. They have a bitter root. They have a couple other cigars as well, but most of it has to do with Montana. They actually have another one of the Cryptid series, which is pretty cool. So they're doing stuff with, like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster, those sorts of things.
Cool. So my last company, Arturo Fuente.
There are so many different ones that I could choose for that. The one that I would say is probably most influential would be the 858 Rosado. It was the very first cigar that I smoked, and actually, I have a band right here of an 858 Rosado because it's the one that I smoked on my wedding. So this is the first cigar that I smoked on my wedding day, and it was the first cigar that I smoked after we got back from Punta Cana in the Dominican, the first trip that we went there. And it absolutely hook, line, and sinkered me into cigars and starting all of this stuff. So for me, that's probably one of the most influential cigars that I've ever smoked.
I've got to say, I like, of course, the Magnum Rosado 58, and I do like that. I like, of course, the Don Carlos number 3 as well. And
there's so many they have.
Oh, yeah. I haven't had the chance yet to smoke an Opus X, but I will get around to that. So, of course, yet again, we'll go around the Cigar Loons. So, we'll go first with Grumpy this time. Grump, you ever had anything from Arturo Fuente?
Funny you should mention that because I think we were talking about that not long ago over in one of our Discord lives, just shooting the breeze. And I was like Joe. I mean, the 858 is to me because I mean I've never had the opportunity to try the Opus. That was a Limbaugh favorite. Never got to it, but I was impressed with the 858, and that's I think that right there would have to be to this point my favorite Fuente because I haven't been exposed to a lot of the different Fuentes, but they're all good.
Do you know which wrapper you smoked?
No.
Because
It's been a many moons ago when I had it.
They have
Not been recent at all.
about 3 or 4 different ones, but all of them are fantastic.
So, of course, we'll go to, of course, Jimmy. And Jimmy, have you ever had any from Arturo Fuente that you smoked?
No, I have not. I've been wanting to try the Opus X, and every time I try to go get one, they don't have any. So I hear great things about it, and every time I go to the cigar shop, they don't have any in.
As a recommendation, I would recommend not smoking an Opus for your first Fuente because it will ruin everything else that you try afterwards.
So, Case, I know, of course, you're still new to cigars, but let's change this question for you, Case. Is there any from Arturo Fuente that you would like to try?
Anything by them. Anything by them that would be more affordable. I ain't even checked. Maybe they're hard to find.
Yeah, I know you've been struggling to find some of the cigars that, of course, I've suggested to you, and the rest of the
But
brothers have suggested to you, of course.
I've yet to try any art. I've yet to try any Arturo Fuente.
Right, okay. So, PC, have you had any Arturo Fuente?
I have not. Each time I go to my local, shop to, pick up a few sticks or whatnot, I always go look over it, and it's like, I'll get that later. But no, I have not tried it. Now I know I must try it, since it's such a popular cigar.
Yeah. And, of course, Kid, have you had any from Arturo Fuente, my brother?
Yeah, the 858, I don't know which wrapper it was, but 25 years ago, that was the first cigar that I ever smoked, and it started me on my journey. For the last, 23 years, I haven't been an everyday smoker. The last 2 years I have, but I smoked on and off, and the 858 was the first one I ever smoked. I used to live in the Tampa area, and there was, I used to buy these. There's this little company down in Ybor City called the Tampa Sweetheart Cigar Company. And I used to go and buy, they were Arturo Fuente seconds that were rolled by an apprentice. And I used to buy bundles of those. They were a Corona size, and I smoked those for years. So, but yeah, the 858's the first one I ever smoked. Got me here today.
Cool. So, let's, of course, now go from me asking the questions and go to, of course, my fellow Cigar Loon brothers. So, of course, I'll go with Grumpy, and we'll start with Grumpy. Have you got a question to ask Joe?
Let me see here. Oh, the recent PCA event, you were at that, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Which of the vendor booths and all stood out most to you, and who shot you the best interview out of all of them?
Well, the one that I think stood out the most would probably be the JC Newman one, and because it literally stood out, it's the tallest one there. It's a giant replica of their clock tower, And so you can literally, it's like the North Star. You can see it from anywhere on the floor. So that's pretty cool. The other one that was really cool, La Aurora had Karl Malone in their booth. So that was pretty cool.
Wow.
So that was neat. The best interview, man, that's a hard one. I have such a good time talking to all those people there. So I mean, there's not really a best one, but you know, some of the cool people that are there. Man, I get to talk to Tony Gomez of LFD. Man, there's just so many. All the guys from Cavalier Cigars, Sebastian and Brian. There's so many good ones.
We'll go, of course, now, and let's go to, of course, PC. Have you got a question for Joe that you'd like to ask my brother?
Sure. Approximately how many states do you travel to, and you meet with your friends in different venues, and which venue would you if you happen to travel to Georgia, which venue would you recommend to go sit and have a great time in the Atlanta area or the metro?
So I've only traveled to Vegas, the Dominican, and Ohio. But I know of a lot of the other events that are going on, and from what I can tell, in the Georgia area, they have something called Atlanta Cigar Week.
Mm-hmm.
That one would be the one that I would recommend going to, by and large. I know a lot of the other brands that have gone to that have all said it was really well put together. I actually know one of the workers at my local lounge here actually went to that this past year here and had a blast. So if you're in Georgia, I would say Atlanta Cigar Week would be the one to go to.
Well, how about Vegas? What spots would you recommend in Vegas?
For events or for just going to a lounge?
Just going to a lounge or anything of that nature.
If you want to go to probably one of the nicest cigar lounges around, it's called 8 Lounge. That's where a lot of the after parties were held for the PCA. Arturo Fuente had his after party event there, and Carlito Fuente had his party there, and so we went there after one of the nights of PCA. That to me is probably one of the nicest places out there.
Cool.
It is a little bit more on the expensive side, so that is kind of one of the down. But it is, I would suggest at least going one time.
Yeah.
We'll go to, of course, Kate. Have you got a question that you'd like to ask Joe?
Yeah, I got a couple. If we got time. And
absolutely.
First of all, Joe, I really appreciate you being here with us. It means a lot to all of us. So thank you. My question is, one of the things that one of our core values, I guess, if you would call it, is the new cigar smoker. And we like to see new people coming in that have never smoked a cigar, fostering that environment for them. What 3 cigars, if someone came up to you, never smoked a cigar in their life, what 3 cigars would you recommend, or 2 or 3, would you recommend for them to start? And also, have you had a personal experience where someone's came to you through your platform that you know of that's never smoked a cigar, and now they're a dedicated hardcore cigar smoker? For example, we have Case right down here. 6 weeks ago, he's never smoked a cigar, and he's one of us now, and that's something really cool for us, and we're really proud of it.
That's cool. Well, first, let me say that's really cool, Casey. That's welcome to the community.
That's awesome.
First off, that's cool that you now you're a part of something like this because, and from what I can tell, you guys are a pretty close knit group already. Being a part of that is a huge part of getting into something that we all love so much. It's nice to be able to talk to people just to see what they're smoking and get more advice on, well, I'm having this issue with my humidor. What would you guys do? That sort of thing. And you can bounce questions off of them.
Yeah.
So that's super cool. So congratulations on that.
I really enjoy the experience here with you guys. It's something I've never got to experience before, and I really never thought I would be part of a cigar clan.
Neither did I. And I promise I'll get to the question. But that right there is exactly my thoughts on all of this, right? So I started this group with a bunch of guys sitting around a poker table, playing poker, drinking whiskey, and smoking cigars. We were fucking around, right? I'm sorry. Am I allowed to curse?
Yeah.
So we're just messing around. We're not taking anything seriously at all. And then now I, have had the honor and pleasure of speaking to some of the biggest cigar manufacturers on the planet. Like, this was never a part of the cards at all, ever. Like, I don't know how I'm here. Like, I don't know why or how I was put here to be talking to you guys, and I'm very glad that I'm here talking to you guys. But never in a million years did I think that was part of the plan for starting my cigar group. So that's that. I mean, you never know. And you just started smoking cigars, what, 6 weeks ago?
Yep.
Welcome to the journey.
I just want to put a quick hi out to Ruben. So, hi, Ruben. Thanks for coming in and watching the show. So, sorry to interrupt there, Joe, but yep, carry on, Joe, with what you were saying, my brother.
Kurt, can you give me that question again?
If someone came to you and never smoked a cigar, what would 3 cigars you'd point them to?
The first, if I'm going to give them 3 cigars, and I know it's going to be 3, I want to give them probably 2 that are going to be on the light side, and 1 that is probably going to be straight medium. I'm not going to give them something full body, something strong to start off with, because it's going to ruin their experience, and they're going to get turned off from cigars completely, and then you just lost a person.
Yep.
I would start light with 2, tell them to smoke the 2 light ones, and then go to the medium one after that. For the 2 light ones, one that I always recommend is the Perdomo Champagne. It's a very light, smooth, very it's non-offending. You're not going to offend anybody with that cigar. It's going to be, it's very bold, and it's got a lot of like nutty almond flavors to it.
Yep.
Very good cigar. So I would recommend that as one of them. I would say in 858 from Arturo Fuente would be a good start. I would go with a natural. So it's got a lighter wrapper to it. I would go with the 858 natural. That's actually one of the very first cigars that my wife started smoking too. So she got hooked on that one. So those would be the 2 light ones. As far as a middle, something straight across the middle, not full, not medium to full, straight middle.
Try again.
I would probably say you could go with like an undercrown, a Drew Estate undercrown, Maduro.
All right.
That's going to be about straight middle down the line. it'll give that person something to. Okay, you just smoked 2 light ones. This is going to be a step up. You're going to definitely notice a difference between those 2 ones that you just smoked. But it gives you an idea of what the next level is. Yep.
And one more question, real quick, Gareth, if we have time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Are you still thinking about a mobile cigar lounge? Have you went anywhere with that, or is that still in the works?
So the interesting thing about Wisconsin, which is where I am, is that our laws here are so tough that when we first did the no smoke, the smoking ban here, they put in laws that made it impossible for any new cigar or any smoking inside of an establishment from 2009 and on. So from literally 2009, if your business was not open before 2009, you could not start a new one. As of September, they started to put in a new legislation to wipe that out, so that now they are allowing more retail, as long as it is a cigar bar. It is something that is now in legislation, and it's being sent through. It hasn't been approved yet, but from what I understand, it's a very good chance that it will get passed. And so that is something that I am still very much going for. I've got my LLC set up. I have an application in right now to get our distribution license as well as the retail license. So once I have those 2 licenses, I'm pedal to the metal and I can do whatever I want then.
Very good. That's cool. Good deal.
So I'm just waiting for good old government to let me do what I want to do.
Yeah. I
And
appreciate it.
that's exciting to hear. That's exciting that you've got that in the works, Joe. That you want to do that, and I know from when we've had conversations before, you were kind of hinting towards around that, and I'm glad you're still chasing that, my brother. And it's exciting to see that you are. So, of course, we'll go down to, of course, Jimmy. Jimmy, have you got a question for Joe, my brother, that you want to ask?
Sure. In your travels and the different manufacturers you've come across with, and this may seem like an off the ball question, but who would you say is the most philanthropical cigar manufacturer?
Well, I would say there's a lot, man. If you're talking in terms of just being an absolutely awesome person and awesome, well, I can't say person, I would say family. JC Newman is at the top of my list. Their entire family, from Eric down to Drew and Bobby being in the middle, are some of the nicest people on the planet. They are the salt of the earth, nicest people on the planet. And what they've done for the cigar industry is by and far one of the, without them, it'd be very hard to say that the cigar industry is where it is today. And I don't know if you guys have seen the documentary called Handrolled. Have you guys seen that at all?
I've yet to see it.
Yeah, I
the
saw
video
it.
on,
Very
of
good.
course.
It's on Netflix, I think.
Yep. So
Yeah.
there's a documentary called Handrolled,
Very good.
which is on Netflix. They just now released a second documentary. They did it at the PCA for their grand release or whatever. But this one specifically features the JC Newman family and their company. Highly recommend watching it. It's free. Just go on YouTube. You can put that in and you can watch that. Highly recommend it. It goes through the history of their great-grandfather, who was an immigrant, came to Ohio, started a cigar industry, or a cigar company, basically with $100 that his mother had given him. Started that up, and then to this day, it's a fourth generation with Eric. You can't. It's hard. Like I said, it would be hard pressed to say that the cigar industry is what it is today without the Jason Neiman family.
So
Very good.
the next person to ask a question, Case, you got a question that you'd like to ask Joe?
Yeah. What's your favorite cigar, man?
Favorite cigar? That's a hard one, dude.
The top, very, very top list, top tier favorite cigar.
Well, the one in my hand.
I think I recall you saying that earlier, but I wasn't sure. But I had to ask the question to make sure.
The cigar that I'm smoking at the moment is my favorite cigar because
There you go.
because the ones that aren't being smoked, they're not my favorite yet.
Yeah.
And then we'll go down, of course, now, of course, to John. John, you got a question you'd like to ask Joe?
Yeah, that's you over in the corner.
That's you, John.
Cigar
Not
Good
me.
evening.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen. I just arrived up here at the house.
Well, wake
Nice
up.
to meet you, my brother. Welcome to the
Thank
Cigar
you,
Lounge.
thank you.
So I don't know what you guys were talking about. Am I supposed to ask a question to him? Okay.
Yeah, if you got a question.
Yeah. I was before I got my phone ran out of battery. You said you're from what place? What town? What town are you from?
I'm from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
I'm about 30 minutes south of Green Bay.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I heard the beginning that you were saying you started smoking at an early age and stuff like that. That's good. Yeah. So if you had to choose between a Cuban or a regular cigar here in the States, which of the two would you prefer?
New World, hands down, not even close.
Okay.
Because
Like
that gives me everything else. That gives me Dominican, that gives me Nicaraguan, Honduran, Mexican tobacco, Costa Rican tobacco, African tobacco. That gives me the field.
So you know who made that cigar, right?
Which one?
The one you just said, New World.
Which one? Which cigar?
You said you smoked New World, right?
Oh no, not the actual New World.
Oh, you say smoke. Okay, what we have here. Okay, I got it.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. I thought you said the New World. Okay, yeah, no, definitely, I agree with you 110%. Absolutely. You always want cigars are always, with different blends. You got different tastes, different flavor, different notes. Yeah, definitely. I'm with you 110%. I'm Cuban, so I don't smoke Cuban cigars, but I'm with you 110%. That's all I do is just smoke, what we have here in the States.
I have some Cubans. I've smoked many Cubans. For me, I feel that they're one-dimensional.
I agree.
There's not the transitions that a lot of the other regions can come up with. There's not the consistency of what the other ones do now as well. There's a lot of issues with consistency with the Cuban tobacco or Cuban cigars now.
I agree.
So yeah, I mean, it's either Cuban cigar or the field. I'm taking the field.
I'm with you. And you said you like Lanceros. So what would you consider would be the next size that will give you the actual flavor besides a Lancero?
Next size up. I mean, if it's not a Lancero, I would probably go to a Corona, just because it's pretty close.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm with you. Corona or Robusto, absolutely. That's where you definitely get all your notes and flavor of a cigar.
I'll shoot out this question because it's something that's been put together of course, with the Cigar Loons, we're going to have once a month where it's going to be the Sisters of the Leaf doing the podcast show. So, of course, Jimmy's wife, Jennifer's going to be doing it. My wife, of course, Emily's going to be doing it. How do you feel over the whole Sisters of the Leaf thing? Do you think there's the Sisters of the Leaf thing still taking off and it's getting more traction now? Or do you think there's the Sisters disappearing a little bit? Because I know I don't see much on Instagram of the Sisters of the Leaf, but on TikTok, I see more Sisters of the Leaf now on TikTok.
I think this a lot of the women that are getting into cigars, I think it exploded so quickly, and there were at one point and at one single time there were so many women that got into it that it just went from here to here. And now I feel like it's kind of plateauing a little bit. I don't think it's going down at all whatsoever. I think it's kind of plateauing, but only because of how quickly females started getting into the cigars that I've noticed.
Yeah.
I think there's been such a huge uptick in female cigar smokers that it was undeniably noticeable. As far as revenue goes, women, the last numbers that I saw, women by and large spend more money per smoker than men do. So they are definitely keeping up the the cigar industry revenue wise for sure.
Yeah, I've seen, of course, since we've started, of course, the podcast, and of course, people, if you don't use YouTube, by all means, you can check us out on Spotify, and you can check us out on Rumble as well. So we're now on Rumble, and basically, what I've seen on Spotify is the main audience that we are getting. We've got over a 48% market that is female cigar smokers watching the podcast.
That's
Then
awesome.
we've got a 50%. Then we've got a 50% market of course, brothers watching the cigar podcast. But our main overall audience on watching all the podcasts is the American market, and I think personally, and I hope this doesn't sound wrong with how I'm going to phrase it, but I see a lot more female cigar smokers from America than I see from England, and I think with England, it's because of the whole surrounding this still a male orientated thing of smoking a cigar in a cigar lounge. And we still haven't changed compared to how the United States have changed. And like I say, of course, you know Maddie Joe, and I know Maddie from Cigar Royal, and she's a big advocate of smoking cigars and the Sister of the Leaf. And I know there's a lot on. And of course, I know Jimmy's wife's female cigar smoking. She's a Sister of the Leaf and enjoys cigars. And this is the thing what's going to be unique about when they do their podcast. And I can't wait for them to do the podcast. So on another one that I'm going to shoot to you, Joe, would your wife love to join the Sisters of the Leaf on the podcast show?
Oh, I can certainly ask her.
Cool.
Yeah, I will definitely ask her. She's been on a couple of our shows, so I will certainly ask her.
I know she's been on the shows, and like I say, I like seeing, of course, the dynamics between you and your wife smoking cigars and what she's got to say. And like I say, she's more than welcome, of course, to join the sisters on the podcast. So, has anyone else got any questions they'd like to shoot to Joe? And Joe, have you still got enough time, and are you free for some more questions?
Absolutely.
Yep. So, like I say, it's open to any of the brothers or anyone that's watching. Have you got any questions that you would like to shoot to Joe, or is there any questions you'd like to shoot to, of course, the Loons by any instances?
One for Joe.
Yeah.
How'd you get that cool ass sign behind you?
That one?
Yeah.
That's just the TV. So I've got the TV here. That's our logo. I just put it on the computer, and I've got my computer hooked up to the TV HDMI, and there she is.
Well, that'll do it.
So I got a question for you guys, actually.
Go on, then.
So for you guys, what is important for you guys when it comes to a cigar brand? What's important for you guys?
I would reckon
Alpha.
for me, it would be the popularity of the cigar, only because I'm new. Sorry to cut you off,
No, go ahead, man.
but I think being a new cigar would be most important.
For me, I think it's like you mentioned before. It's family, and I love the. There's no other industry with such a rich history, and it's just the families that have been involved, over multiple generations, and it just keeps getting passed down and passed down. It keeps getting better and better. And I mean, when you think about a cigar, from seed to when we turn it back into dust, it's been touched over 300 times. Just it's, I don't know. There's just an amount of respect that I have of a cigar, and But as far as different companies, I really like the companies that tend to gravitate that are really family involved, and that's a factor for me.
I know for myself, it's the journey. Like you said, it is a true journey because I have met a lot of people since I've been smoking over the last 5 years. And I never had a bad experience when I meet different people. You meet people from all walks of life, and the leaf is the one thing you have in common until you get a chance to talk to the people. Um, Over the course of the cigar and that you're smoking, I mean, the conversations that you have is priceless, man. And I don't think that you can just walk up to a stranger on the street and have the same conversation that you would over a cigar or something like that. But that's been the biggest thing for me is the journey. Grump,
Like I say,
let's take that
I
over
think the
to a
whole
cigar man. Let's see.
yeah. Let's go down to John and see what, of course, Cigar Man John's got to say about this.
Well, no, I definitely agree. There has to be where the family starts. You know what I mean? I'm again, like most of you guys know where I'm from. I was born in Cuba, and I was born in Pinar del Rio, where all the tobacco farms are at. So for me, it starts with actually the family. You know what I mean? Like the Plasencias, the Robainas, all those people that started the tobacco back in the days in my hometown. It goes back from there, from that history. And now having them here, in the United States, it's a blessing to be able to smoke their cigars here as well. You know what I mean? But when I want to smoke a cigar, I'm always looking for the notes and the flavor, the taste of it. And of course, like again, it has to come back from the family. You know, I'm a true Plasencia, AJ, Don Pepin, and also I can't leave out Evil3mpirecigar5ociety, a friend of mine as well.
Oop,
So
oop, there he is.
We've just got a question that's just coming from Ruben. So this is, of course, going to be for you, Joe. Do you have a TikTok page at all where people can find you?
I do not, but it's an interesting question. It is definitely something that I think I am looking into. I don't know for 100% sure if that's a venture that I want to do, but I do know that TikTok is one of those areas that has really helped the cigar industry and community a lot.
Us too. Yeah.
I just don't like TikTok. That's been one of my biggest deterrences. I just don't like TikTok.
It's like the wild, wild west over there.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
So from Mr. Strange in 911, a shout out to PC from Fort Worth, Texas, my Leaf Journal. So welcome to the show and thank you for tuning in. TikTok's a weird platform, and to be honest with you, when I started on TikTok, it was a case I just posted a couple of videos and they got removed. But what TikTok's led me to is, of course, meeting my fellow Cigar Loon brothers and sisters. And the uniqueness now of the group that we've got with all of us, and we're all there for one another. Like I say, I can speak to, of course, John, Cigar Man, and we'll have chats. I'll speak to Kiva, of course, who's not here tonight. Popo, I speak to Kate most days. I spoke to Grumpy last night to the point it was 3 a.m. in the UK, and I'm still smoking a cigar with him. And we were having a good chat, weren't we, Grump? And this is
Yeah,
the
we
thing.
were.
It's introduced me to new people, and you see new content. It's just, I hope TikTok doesn't start banning a lot of videos like they're trying to do. And it's a uniqueness. You've seen a lot more newer cigar smokers that are using that platform, and you're seeing Instagram declining on the platform with what you see.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as we originally know, when cigars were starting, Facebook was the main one, and then Instagram, then of course YouTube. Now people, of course, are going over to Rumble, Spotify. They're going over to TikTok, and I think it's a good thing. We've got all these forums where we can go and make content and have that content out. And this is the thing why we came up with, of course, the podcast show, just having a little bit of something different and people getting to know us as the Cigar Loons, for one, and what the group's about, and to have unique guests like yourself on, Joe, and telling us your background and how you are on cigars and everything. So, just seeing this, we've just had another comment. So this is from Jennifer. It is. So let's pop it up. So let's see. So the question is there a particular drink that you like to pair with a particular cigar? So
I like
this
to
is
answer that
open
one.
to anyone around.
I'd
So
like to
let's
answer
go
that
with
cigar.
Pitch.
Question. Well, I figured out I've done a lot of reading on cigars and drinking. You know, spirits, beer. Only because I like drinking and smoking a cigar at the same time.
Oh,
I
you'll
figured
fit
out
right in then. You're good to go.
if you
Yeah.
if you pair the color beer with the same color of the wrapper of the cigar, it might have a decent taste. I recently went with that what was it, Django by Foundation with
Yep.
Oktoberfest by Samuel Adams. It was a pretty nice taste. It was a really nice cigar and a good pairing with that beer.
So Kate, what would you like? What do you pair,
Uh,
of course, for your cigar?
if I'm just smoking and joking, for me, I like my Buffalo Trace bourbon. My favorite drink is an old fashioned. If I'm sitting down to really concentrate and review a cigar, I drink ice water just to keep my palate neutral. But if I'm on with the guys, my favorite is an old fashioned with some bourbon.
So PC, what would you pair with your cigar, my brother?
Well, my go-to on a daily basis is the Presidente beer. But if I'm really out and about, I'll get me a Grand Marnier, and it pretty much pairs up for me with any cigar that I pull off of, and you can't beat it. I mean, it brings out all the flavors. It gives you exactly what you want. Grand Marnier, I give a shout out to 'em.
So Joe, what would you pair with your cigar, my brother, when you're smoking your cigars?
I'll give you 4. And I'll give you a little bit of background on why. So, one, the background being a lot of times what you'll find is that a good balance makes everything better. So that yin and yang of a light cigar with something a little bit more stronger of a drink, or vice versa, if you're doing something a stronger cigar, having something a little bit lighter on the drink tends to pair well because it gives you that balance. So just something to keep in mind. As far as alcohol is concerned, for one of them, bourbons, I mean, hands down, is the alcoholic drink of choice. I'll drink a beer every once in a while, but if I really, really want to relax and enjoy a cigar, bourbon's where I'm going. Another one that an non-alcoholic one that's with everything. You can do coffee. Coffee is going to be no matter what cigar it is, usually it's going to be a good pair. So coffee would in the morning. I'll drink coffee at night too. It doesn't usually keep me up, so that's not for everybody, obviously, but for me it works. If I'm doing a review, if I'm trying to review a cigar and really concentrate and try and pick out little nuances about different profiles that I'm getting, water is obviously one of the better things you can do. But if you don't want water, you want something else, ginger ale, like club soda, will be the best possible thing because that's going to help cleanse your palate the entire time. So it's going to cleanse your palate while you're trying to pick out the small different profiles that you're getting and trying to figure out, am I getting like burnt almonds, or am I getting leather, or is it pepper or is it cayenne pepper? Those little subtle differences. Ginger ale will help you be able to cleanse your palate a little bit better. The one thing, and this is something that my brother from Hard Ash Cigar Society, Nick, turned me on to, was Dr. Pepper. So Dr. Pepper has 23 flavors that they say is mixed into it. Yep, there you go. See? Perfect. Right on that bottle says 23 flavors, right? So one of those 23 flavors should probably match up with that cigar at some point.
So
that's called the shotgun approach.
What do you think about, a lot of people recommend that you pair it up with some chocolate or some type of mint or something like that. So what do you suggest when they introduce, some type of candy or something like this flavor?
Well, if so, candy is interesting. So for one, if you smoke something super heavy and it's got you feeling, I call it cigar drunk, right? You smoke something that's too heavy for you and it's got you, a little tipsy. If you eat some candy or just a packet of sugar, that will help cure that faster than anything else. Because the reason you're feeling that way is because your blood sugar level is dropping because of the nicotine in the cigar. So if you take a sugar packet, eat that sugar, that will help you quicker than anything else. Candy, I don't know. Chocolate could be something, that can add a little bit more flavor, but it might throw off the actual flavors of the cigar that you're getting. Because then you're going to taste the chocolatiness of the chocolate, but you might think it's coming from the cigar. So if you're just smoking just to smoke, then who cares? Then it really doesn't matter. Eat whatever you want. But if you're trying to really pinpoint what you're getting on a cigar and review it, or just really figure out that cigar, I would probably recommend staying away from that.
So we'll get down to Grumpy. Grumpy, what would you have with your cigar? What drink would you compare with your cigar?
Well,
coffee.
when I'm doing my morning cigar review, coffee. When I'm doing my evening cigar review, coffee. I keep water sitting around. I do. I keep a little water sitting around. And I just happened to have this here tonight, but I'm not a real big soda drinker, but if I am, it's either like Dr. Pepper or the Mr. Pibb, which is, the sideline of Dr. Pepper. And like you said, they both got multiple flavors in them. But yeah, coffee, and I do drink the Java drinks, the like the Mean Bean and the Loco Mocha. But other than that, though, I really don't. I drink tea, but we usually don't keep it made here, so I'm usually not drinking tea with any of my cigars. So, mainly coffee, water, and occasional soda.
So I'll say for myself, it's either Glenmorangie, Buffalo Trace, maybe Mountain Dew or water. But we'll go over, of course, to Jimmy. So, Jimmy, what would you compare with your cigar, drink-wise?
In the mornings, I usually have coffee if I'm having a cigar in the morning. Pardon the train in the background. But not against what was said as far as the contrast, but something that I found out that pairs wonderfully together is the Tabac Dolce with Dr. Pepper. The caramel flavors of the Dolce and the caramel flavors of the Dr. Pepper really, really blend nicely together. And it gives you that constant flavor of that caramel tone as you're smoking that particular cigar. But other than that, if I'm going out or going to the cigar lounge or the cigar bar, I will have an old fashioned, different versions of the old fashioned. One of my favorites, if it's a really kind of a bold cigar, I will have a Jameson Orange old fashioned. It's a little on the sweeter side. Yep. It has a flavor besides just the whiskey. But if it's a lighter cigar or maybe an infused cigar like a Fat Bottom Betty or an Al de Sol, I'll have more of a stronger old fashioned, or I'll pair it with a nice beer. Here in Texas, we have a Texas company called Shiner, and they make a Shiner Bock.
Yep, that is fantastic.
It's yes, that Shiner Bock going with any of the lighter sun grown, or I'm not really big on the lighter, the shades or the Connecticut's, but usually a sun grown or a Maduro with that, even with that dark beer is really, really nice together. The Shiner Bock is not a bitter beer whatsoever.
No.
It's very smooth.
So you like the spice and pepper, huh?
Not too terribly much. I'm not a big Maduro smoker. Very rarely. It's like tonight I'm having the Amenzo. It's a Maduro, but it's not a greasy Maduro, and it's not a dark Maduro. Unlike the Perdomo, 12-year or 20th anniversary, that's a more darker Maduro. But yeah, I like the full flavored tobacco flavor cigars. Not really so much on the spice or the pepper, but yes, in the mornings, if I'm going to have one of my dailies, one of the factory smoked sun growns, I've got some coffee, usually on the blonder and sweeter side, but the only one that like I said, really jumped out was one night we went out. I was having a Tabac and I was driving, so I decided to have a Dr. Pepper, and it was just that flavor rush of that caramel all the way through the drink, and all the way through the cigar.
Yep.
So we'll go now.
How you doing, Popo, my brother?
Well, let's say hi to Popo for coming, like I say, but we'll go to Cigar Man. And Cigar Man, what would you compare with your cigar drink-wise when you have your cigar, my brother?
He's muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I like to usually pair it with bourbon or Zacapa rum is always good. It's and I only do that at nighttime. During the day, I don't eat or drink. When I smoke my cigars, I don't need to pair it with anything. I just smoke my cigars, enjoy them, get the notes that's in it. But once in a while, getting back to that chocolate does help when you smoke a cigar. Not at the beginning, but around midway through your cigar, because it actually gives it that good taste. If you're getting some bitterness on that tobacco when you first lit it up, the actual chocolate, and I'm talking about dark chocolate, not milk chocolate, dark chocolate does help you out a little bit to mellow out also the cigar if it's too strong for you, But I usually do bourbon or Zacapa rum. That's the only two things.
So we'll go over now, of course, to Mr. Popo Panda. What would you
What's going
name
on?
your cigar, my brother?
What's going on, gentlemen? How you guys doing? Joe, welcome. I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
And I apologize for my tardiness. Just had some personal things I had to take care of, but
The Puerto
definitely
Rican thing.
appreciate you coming and taking time. My pairing, I
you can
love
leave.
my bourbons. You know,
Go ahead and
there's
close.
no secret here. Tonight I'm drinking Elijah Craig Rye.
Oh, there you go.
You know what I mean? And if it's not this, I'll have if I could do whiskey, I'll do maybe a Balvenie 14-year Caribbean casket. You know, or I'll do the Woodford Reserve. I mean,
Oh yeah.
it all depends on the cigar. To be honest with you. Um, I'm a big Buffalo Trace guy. I like Buffalo Trace, but this Elijah Craig Rye is unbelievable. It to me is so smooth. Tonight I'm smoking the Nica Rustica Connecticut Broadleaf. And you want to talk about a pairing? Holy crap! Let me tell you something, guy. I mean, it's so smooth because you taste the caramel from the bourbon, some pepper, some chocolate, some you know what I mean. It's such a good combination that it's to me bourbon is definitely my number one go-to. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm just relaxing, like after having a long, crazy day like I've had today, and been trying to get back, get to you guys as soon as I could. I see you guys been on there for a good hour. Um, I know I missed a lot, but I'll definitely catch up on the reboot on the YouTube. But I just wanted to tell you, Joe, I appreciate you coming and spending time with us, man. It really means a lot to us. I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of new to your Instagram. I started looking you up and stuff like that. Um, I realize you do one thing that's kind of different from other podcasters. You kind of throw them off with questions that kind of unrelated to the topic per se. So I'm gonna throw something at you.
Sure.
So outside of smoking cigars and drinking bourbon or whatever, what exactly is it that you do outside of it just to kind of keep yourself entertained? Outside of this.
Yeah. So one of the, and we kind of touched on a little bit. I ride motorcycles, so that's one of the things that keeps me sane. That's my therapy outside of cigars. That's my wind therapy, we call it. So that's one thing. I play rec volleyball here. I used to play softball every summer, but my shoulder's done after all the years of playing actual baseball. So that's out the window. And then I got an 8-year-old too, so that takes up a lot of my time.
Ooh, yeah, I remember those days. Trust me.
Yep.
Pretty sure they keep you nice and big. Keeps you nice and busy. Is it a girl, or boy? I'm sorry.
Boy. Yep, I got a son.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
8-year-old son. So he's into everything and anything that involves running around and causing mayhem. So.
Oh man, I hear you. Well, I appreciate it, man.
Well, before we wrap up the show, Popo, if you got another question, go on, my brother. Shoot another question at Joe before we wrap up.
All right. I mean, I don't know what he's already been asked, so I would hate to kind of like throw another question out there. But like I said, honestly, I appreciate the time. All in all, man, I wish I was here earlier to kind of interact with you more. But hopefully, you come back. You know what I mean? I'll definitely.
Absolutely. I'm down to come back on at any point, and if you guys have stuff, shoot me an invite. I'll be happy to come out and hang out.
You're up in Wisconsin, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you a big cheesehead out there?
Oh yeah, you know it. We're not doing so hot, but yeah.
Listen, you got to live and die by it, right?
Hey, I've been blessed to have 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks back to back. I'll take it.
Hey, listen. As you can tell through my accent, where I'm from, I'm from Kentucky, and I am definitely a New Yorker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love my New York teams, but let me tell you, the Jets and the Giants, boy, let me tell you, it's going to be rough. Today, actually Sunday, they'll be playing against each other, so we'll see what happens.
I've got the Jets defense on my fantasy team, so I'm pulling for one of them.
So do I. So I'm hoping, brother. Cheers.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, like I say, we'll definitely, of course, have you back on, Joe, and it's been a pleasure to have you. And, of course, Joe is in the Cigar Loons chat. He has joined, of course, the Cigar Loons Discord. So no doubt we'll see Joe popping up in there. But like I say, I just want to say thank you for coming on tonight, Joe, and being open and telling us about yourself, about what Evil Empire is about. And thank you for answering the questions that we've asked. Hopefully it hasn't
Absolutely.
put you off coming on again.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
absolutely.
just lasting thoughts from everybody over the podcast tonight, and just closing statements, basically. So, Kurt, closing statement, my brother.
I just thank you again, Joe. You fit right in with us. It's been just to meet another brother of the Leaf. Man, I just really appreciate your time, and it's been really enjoyable for me.
PC, closing statement.
I want to thank Joe for stopping through, and I want to echo Kurt's sentiments about stopping through, man. And we really appreciate you lending us your time, man.
Grumpy, your lasting statements, my brother.
Hey, I'm just chiming in like the rest of them, man. I appreciate the fact that you took the time out of your day, your evening, to come and sit with us. Educate us a little bit more on about what it is that you do, and how you got your start on this. I think it could be an encouragement to all of us, with what we're trying to start here, knowing
Absolutely.
that
100%.
knowing that you came from humble beginnings and weren't even expecting to be where you are and what you're doing. I mean, I think that should give us hope, with what we're trying to do and accomplish with this. And I thank you greatly for taking time out of your day to stop and be with us, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, like you said, this was never part of the cards. Never did I think that I would be sitting across the table from Carlito Fuente, hanging out with him till early in the morning at PCA of all places. That was never a part
Right.
of anything that I was doing. So, absolutely, you are spot on. You guys take this and run with it. You guys have a good group of people. Keep going.
Well, like I say, I've got to say thank you, again, for coming on. And I know I've said it before we were even live. I want to say another big thank you to you, Joe, for being there, shooting the message to me and asking how I was, of course, with everything that was going on in my health, and being there and being a true brother. And thank you again for coming on tonight. Like I say, it's much appreciated. It's much appreciated for what you did for me when, of course, I had the business and you had me on your show. So to have you on my show with my friends and my brothers and my family is an absolute thank you from me at the bottom of my heart. Popo, lasting statement.
Keep doing what you're doing, brother. I mean, you honestly, just in the context that I've read and watching you definitely got something going for you, brother. God bless, man, and keep going. I mean, you definitely inspired me today. I'll be honest with you. And today, I probably watched a few of your podcasts, about a good 3 hours. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Honestly, yeah. And keep doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And I'll be on the next one with you, because I definitely want to pick your brain on a few things. You know what I mean? And throw things at you, see what you think, and get your input on it, man.
So, Cigar Man John, your lasting thoughts, my brother?
Yeah, Joe, I'd like to say thank you for coming in here and giving some of your knowledge. You know, thank you for taking your time. I know you got your kids and you got time to do your own thing, and you came in here and started talking to us about, your life and what you did, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Long time smoker, I am too, over 30 years, and it's always good to pick on each other's brain once in a while to
Absolutely.
get more knowledge. That's the way we continue in this industry, because this is a powerful industry. Once again, these guys sum it up really good. I appreciate you. Thank you. And, just continue what you're doing. Much success in your life, my friend.
Jimmy, your lasting thoughts, my brother?
I guess I'm going to parrot everybody else and say thank you for coming on, and we appreciate you, what you've done for the brotherhood. and raising the awareness and the education about cigars and about the different manufacturers. And we just want to say thank you very much. I haven't been smoking that long, about 2.5 years. And, you know, looking forward to trying the new, different cigars, like not necessarily new, but different cigars that were mentioned tonight. And just want to say thank you. It's been informative.
Case, your lasting impressions, my brother?
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining in and sharing some information with a new guy. I can't
Absolutely.
wait. Maybe you could hop in another stream we got. It was a great show tonight. I really appreciate the information and everybody joining. My phone's dying. I'm trying to make it quick. But thanks for joining, man.
Absolutely. And welcome to the community.
So
Absolutely.
So from myself and everybody, it's thank you for watching us and joining. And like I say, our guest tonight has been Joe from Evil Empire Cigar Society. Make sure to check him out on Instagram. And like I say, make sure to check out the rest of the Cigar Loon brothers on TikTok. We're also, of course, on Spotify, and we're now on rumble.com. So let's get ready to rumble. And next week, our guest is going to be Darren Brooks. So make sure to check that out. But from me, thank you for coming on. Like I say again, Joe, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And that's a wrap for us. So, like I say, if you like the video, please like it, subscribe, and please press the bell for the next notification for when we're live. And thank you again. Bye, everyone. Have a good one. I'll speak to you all soon.
And don't forget to share.
Perfect.
Thank you guys for having me on. If you guys, I'm in the Discord. If you guys have questions,